2020 was a great year for HomeKit. We saw a lot of great new features and new improvements that really take this platform to the next level. In addition, we saw a lot of great new HomeKit products come to market. Today, I'm going to give you my top 10 HomeKit products of the year. Let's do it. Welcome back, friends. As you can see, I have my tux on. I hope you're ready for a great show because this is going to be a good one. So 2020 was a tough year for most of us. I know personally it definitely was. But when it came to HomeKit, we saw some amazing accomplishments. With the brand new iOS 14 came a new redesign of the Home app that we've all now come to love, including that new visual status bar at the top that makes it so much easier to know what's going on with your home. In addition, the new Home app brought some new features like adaptive lighting and intercom, all while maintaining its easy use and privacy. And let's not forget about that new HomeKit Hub in the HomePod Mini that now brings the entry level into HomeKit at only $99. In addition, we had a bunch of third-party manufacturers that are really making affordable HomeKit products at prices that we've never seen before, which I think now puts HomeKit in the same ballpark as other leading smart home platforms. So if you never thought HomeKit was in the smart home game, you better watch out now. So these are my top 10 HomeKit products of 2020. Not all these are native to HomeKit, and not all these are brand new in 2020. They're just new to me, and I've reviewed them in 2020. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out number 10. Coming in at number 10 is the Lutron Caseta fan controller. And even if I was not into HomeKit, this is probably one of the best fan controllers out there. But it does require a hub to get into HomeKit, which is no big deal, even though I don't like hubs, but it is a solid connection and I've never had issues. Let's jump into a couple scenes from the original video. Dumb fan does have to be hardwired to a hardwire switch, and that switch has to have a neutral wire. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to be taking this 3-gang box down to a 2-gang box. I'm going to have to do the dreaded drywall work. I hate drywall. Paul Peck, where are you? Now I'm going to go ahead and hook up the other switch. I'm actually going to be using a Lutron dimmer switch, which are awesome because it's one of the only dimmer switches out there available for HomeKit that doesn't require a neutral wire. Go back down, turn the power back on, and come up and test it out. Turn on like a medium. Super easy. You'll have 5 controls. You have high, medium, low, and off, which are the same controls in HomeKit. If you go into your Home app, you'll have to find the fan. Fortunately, the room didn't come over, even though the lights did. So once you find it, you'll have the same controls, same 5 controls, and you can control it from HomeKit, from Siri. And now it's time for my least favorite part. Now coming in at number 9 is the First Alert Safe and Sound Carbon Monoxide and Smoke Detector. You might be asking me what is so amazing about this. Yes, it is integrated within HomeKit, but what really makes this special is the AirPlay 2 support. Let's jump into a couple scenes from the original video. Now this is an intelligent smoke detector and carbon monoxide detector. It has a customizable night light, and as you can tell by the speaker grill, this has a built-in speaker, so you can play music through Lady A from Pandora, Amazon Music, Spotify, and any other Alexa services. But that's not where the fun stops. This now has AirPlay 2, which means that you can stream music from your iOS devices to all your AirPlay 2 speakers throughout the entire house. You can have your HomePods playing at the same time your smoke detectors are playing, while your Sonos speakers all playing the same music throughout the entire house.
We head for the sky, it's alright. Our wings wouldn't fly, it's alright. If we are crashing down again, pieces of love, it's alright. Scattered in mud, it's alright. You're giving me a lie again.
That was fast. You do get the alarm that goes off first, and maybe 10 seconds into it, it will announce where that smoke is coming from.
Evacuate. There's fire in kitchen. Evacuate.
Stop it! It's okay. It's not real. It's not real. Daddy's messing around.
Silence the alarm.
I did eventually have to call customer service, but I was having issues. It would say that I would have to go into the First Alert app and give it access to the home account, which I already had access, so I'm not quite sure what the confusion was. So I had to call them back again. They had to let me know that they're going to send me the new firmware update, which took about 20 to 25 minutes to get that update, and I got AirPlay and it works great. It's a little pricey, around $200. I've seen it as high as like $250, as low as $150 during Prime Day. As you saw, I did have some major issues getting this connected to HomeKit, but since then I've been using this every single day. And what really makes this onto my top 10 list is that AirPlay 2 support. Having AirPlay 2 speakers around the house that you don't have to play with or you don't have to mess with, you just send your music to and your music can play throughout the house, makes this one of the top 10 products on my top 10 list. And now at number 8 is the brilliant home controller. And even though this came out about 2 years ago, they released the HomeKit support in 2020, which just made this amazing product even better. Let's jump into a couple scenes to see what this thing's all about. Today we're going to check out this $300 smart home controller. Let's find out to see if it's worth $300 and to see if it's brilliant enough for you. Now, when I'm home, I usually have my phone available, and if my phone is not nearby, I can usually control my smart home either through automation or through voice first activations through services like Lady A or Google Home. But what if your family, or even more likely, guests that you have over, don't know the names of your devices or your rooms? For instance, is this a living room or is this a family room? So having a physical device where they can actually see the names of rooms and actually control them is definitely something you want to have. But that's just the tip of the iceberg of what this thing can do. I'm going to talk more features in a moment, but one of the things I liked about this design is that it's actually built into your smart home. So it actually replaces a switch or up to 4 switches or 4 gangs. There's 4 different models: 1 gang, 2 gang, 3 gang, and 4 gang. And it goes up $50 for each gang that you have. If you have a Ring doorbell, you can see who's at your front door. I was quite surprised that it rang instantaneously, and within a couple seconds you saw the video footage. It also works with Philips Hue lights that are connected to a Philips Hue bridge, all Wemo lights, switches, and also smart plugs. But that's just the list that Brilliant currently works with. I can see them expanding the list very quickly over the next couple years. The Brilliant home controller now works with HomeKit. Yes! Now the big thing with this is not that it's in beta, rather it's about the integration and how it controls and what you can control with this HomeKit integration. Now unfortunately, the big thing is that it is not going to show any HomeKit enabled accessory on screen. It does not go that way. Rather, it goes the opposite way, is any hardwired Brilliant control that's hardwired like this is in my dining room, I can now go into HomeKit and control that light. If you have a double gang switch or a triple or a 4 gang switch, all 4 of those will be exposed to HomeKit, but it does not work in reverse. Yes, I do wish this had more integration with HomeKit. Unfortunately, unless you have third-party products that work with HomeKit and also the Brilliant Smart Home Controller, you can't control those on this screen. I hope one day Apple will allow this. Unfortunately, I never see that coming, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed on this one because it's a great product. And even without being able to control control your entire smart home from that screen, this product still makes it onto my top 10 HomeKit products of 2020. Alright, coming in at number 7 is the Aqara wireless switches. And you might be asking me, why does a wireless switch, make it onto my list? And that is because I have guests and family members that don't want to use HomeKit. They don't want to use voice activation. They don't want to use automations. They want the old-fashioned switch. Press a button, light turns on. So I have to be able to allow them to control my smart home even without the smart home functionality, and with wireless switches like this, it makes that possible. So let's go ahead and jump into a few scenes from the original video. Aqara has 3 different wireless switches: the single rocker, the double rocker, and the wireless mini switch, which we're not going to talk a lot about today only because it's very similar to the single rocker. These are wireless. You can place these anywhere in your house as long as it's within range of your Aqara hub. It is Zigbee, so the range on Zigbee I think is maximum of 75 meters or about 245 feet, something like that.
Need to connect to child devices. Child device connected.
You bind Aqara with HomeKit. The nice thing is that these switches will work with your entire ecosystem of HomeKit products. For instance, these studio lights are on a iHome plug, but I can still turn them on and turn them off even though they are different brands. Now within the HomeKit app, there are some limitations when it comes to triggers and conditions. Unfortunately, you only have a single press, a double press, and a long press per switch. Now if you get into conditions, which you have to go outside of the HomeKit app and go into apps like the Eve app or the Home Plus app to set conditions, you can double those simply by using conditions. Now if you want to use the Aqara app, unfortunately you can only use Aqara products within the Aqara app. The bright side is that if you do have a bunch of Aqara products, there are more triggers and more features available to those products. For instance, on the double rocker switch, instead of just one single tap, double tap, and long press per switch, you can also use both switches as a trigger together. So you can do a single press together, or a double tap together, or a long press together as an additional trigger for a total of 9 triggers all in this one switch. You can see how useful these switches are. I love them, my family loves them. You can put them anywhere in the house. You can mount them on the wall, put them on the nightstand. Literally, you can put them anywhere. And the battery life is amazing. Unfortunately, of course, you need the Aqara hub, and you know how I feel about hubs. Guys, we gotta get rid of hubs. I've said it many times before, I hate hubs. Yes, they are fast, they're great protocols like Zigbee, Z-Wave, and all that kind of stuff, but they are not necessary. Let's get rid of them, please! Alright, coming in at number 6 is another hub, and it is called Hoobs. And if you've never heard of Hoobs before, it stands for Home Bridge Out of the Box, which allows you to bring non-native HomeKit products into HomeKit. Now, I would always suggest that you get native HomeKit products, but when there's a smart home product that doesn't exist in the HomeKit ecosystem, sometimes you just have to be creative. And one of those creative ways is using Hoobs. So let's jump into some other videos that I've done in my Hoobs series to see what this was all about. That I actually set up is one is my Harmony Logitech remote, my Ring doorbell, and my 2 Honeywell Total Connect thermostats. Save and then go to the home app and you should see your Ring stuff there. It is simply that easy. Now I'm only able to test the Ring doorbell even though other products are supported. I gotta tell you, it's pretty good. It's not as good as being in the Ring app. When you're talking to someone at the door, sometimes you do get some feedback and some delay, but it wasn't really that bad. Now one thing I did notice when I first got this in the HomeKit, the presets that you have in the Harmony Hub are the ones that are going to come over. So I have 5 presets: TV, Apple TV, DVD, and I forget the other two. But those are the ones that are going to come over. So wherever you program into the Harmony Hub are also going to come over to HomeKit. Now, the way that you use this is not like the Harmony remote. You can turn on the TV, you can turn it off very easily. But to get around to search for programming in the TV and use the remote like you should is a little bit more difficult. You can go into the Apple TV remote, which you just slide up from the bottom, hit the Apple TV remote that you want for mine's called the family room, but it is very limited on what you can do with it. When you came to volume though, you can actually use your iPhone's volume control on the side to control the volume of the TV, but they also give you two tiles, one for mute and one to control the volume inside the home app. And now moving on to the easiest one of all is the Honeywell Total Connect Comfort. All I had to do was put in my username and password, and it brought over my two Honeywell thermostats. Now, of course, you set this up ahead of time in Honeywell, but once you did that, it brought it right into HomeKit just like that. $100 to $200 for a water shove valve. And that's a lot of money to spend on something that one, not gonna use that often, and two, it doesn't have a wow factor. It's not like you're gonna invite Bob over and be like, hey Bob, check out my new smart home toy. What does it do? It just shuts off the water. But just like car insurance and home insurance, you hate paying that bill every single month. But if you ever have to use it, and you are glad that you have it, and it will save you thousands of dollars in the long run. So you can see how cool Hoobs is definitely the easiest way to bring non-native HomeKit products into HomeKit. So if you never checked it out, it's definitely well worth it. Now, before we move on to the second half of my list, if you're brand new here, I hope you would consider subscribing. If you guys want to get more information on any of these products, I'll leave a full pros and cons list down below to my website where you can get more information. All the affiliate links that you need to know about these products are down in the description below. Before we move on, I want to do an honorable mention here. One of those non-native HomeKit products that work with Hoobs is the SwitchBot. And they make two great products that I reviewed in 2020, the SwitchBot Bot and the SwitchBot Kern. Let's jump into a couple scenes from both of those videos. When it comes to the actual device, these things are pretty simple. All it is a little tiny box with a finger that comes out and pushes the button of the device that you want to trigger. The places where you can put these things is endless. It's really only limited by your imagination. Some of the places that you can put these are on your coffee machines, microwaves, ovens, baby sound machines, thermostats, TVs, the list goes on and on. I found a couple places I really wanted to put these, but because there's other buttons in the way or other things, I couldn't do it. You do have to have enough of the double-sided tape on the device, so if things are in the way, it's just not gonna work. So if they could just make it a little bit smaller, you can really get more uses out of it. And you can also say, open the studio curtains.
On it. Okay.
So I hope you can see how useful these little robots are, in particular the SwitchBot Bot, which you can add to anything with a push button in your home. So even though that product might not be smart, you can simply add one of these smart bots to it and make it part of your HomeKit home, and because of that, it gets an honorable mention. Guys, coming in at number 5 is a product, or actually products that were released maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And by themselves, they're great products, but they're nothing that could really make my top 10 by themselves. They're just a bulb and a light strip. But because the Nanoleaf bulb and the Nanoleaf light strip both feature thread technology, and they are the first ones to make it onto the market for HomeKit. They make my top 10. So if you want to learn more about thread, here's a couple scenes from the original video. In a nutshell, thread is a low power, low latency, self-healing mesh communication that is extremely reliable. It means all your thread devices in your house will communicate with each other, and if one of those happen to go down for whatever reason, your thread network will heal itself and find another way to communicate with all the devices that are so active in your home. Not only is it more stable, more reliable, but it also extends your network out to further locations of your house. So today I want to test out thread versus the Bluetooth communication that are also built into both of the devices, test out the latency and also the distance of the thread network to see if it's actually connecting through each other. I set this up with HomeKit. I knew it was communicating via Bluetooth only because I did not have the HomePod Mini yet. I noticed right away the latency was terrible. Sometimes it was 2, 3, 5 seconds, and sometimes it never turned on or changed colors. Happy to report that once I got my HomePod Mini set up and updated it to 14.2, a new thread was activated right away because of how fast it was. You saw an incredible difference. I mean, you could really, as soon as you hit the button, the light turned on. When I tested the distance, I kept the light bulb here in my studio and moved the HomePod Mini to the other side of the house, which is about 35-40 feet away. I have good news, it did connect, so I decided to take it a little bit further and actually drop it down to the second level. And once I was down at the second level, still at that 35-40 feet away, I lost connection altogether. I could not connect the light bulb. The next thing I did was to bring in the Nanoleaf light strip, which is also a thread device, and put that at the top level on the other side of the house. Good news, it did work. It did extend that network and it was super fast. So I decided to take it one step further and drop the HomePod Mini to the basement and keep the Nanoleaf light strip at that top level on the other side of the house. And I got great news here too, and it still worked. So we have 30-45 feet across and probably was at probably 20 to 30 feet down 2 levels through all the wood and everything else that this house is made of, and it still works. So you can see how excited I am about this technology. Thread is the future of smart home and it is here today. I hope you can see how cool Thread is and how it's built into these brand new Nanoleaf products and really stands out from the competition because of this new protocol. I'm going to talk more about Thread in just a couple minutes, but right now let's talk about number 4, which is the brand new, released in 2020, the VocoLinc PureFlow Air Purifier. And I think it's the biggest HomeKit accessory I have. It's the VocoLinc PureFlow Air Purifier. Let's check it out. PureFlow is a class 12 true 3-stage filtration system, starting with a pre-filter, an advanced HEPA filter, and then ending with a high pattern active carbon filter, which filters out pollen, allergens, dust, mold, bacteria, pet dander, VOCs, and a bunch of other things I can't even pronounce. And you have the air quality, which will change colors depending on that air quality. If it is green, it is excellent. If it's lime green, it is good. If it's yellow, it's fair. If it's orange, it's inferior. And if it's red, you better get out of the house because that air quality is really bad. Comes with 2 filters, one on either side. They're really easy to change out. You just open up this magnetic compartment, simple just like that, and then you can put these in and out. They say it lasts about a year, depending of course on your air quality. A pair of these will run roughly about $80. On the inside you can see where the intake is and the motor, it's pulling in the air and then it's shooting out the top. It's really easy to put the filter back in. You just pop it in and put the cover right back on, just like that. and then it's going to start up automatically. I gotta admit, the PureFlow is the biggest HomeKit product that I have thus far, and the sticker price when you first see it does push you back a little bit, but when you compare it to other air purifiers out there on the market of the same caliber, $400 is very, very reasonable. So because of that, it makes my top 10. And at number 3, we saw a bunch of HomeKit and HomeKit secure video cameras come to market in 2020. I tested most of them. There was probably 1 or 2 that I wasn't able to get. And by far, my favorite is their Aqara G2H. Let's check out some scenes from the original video. How good of a camera is it? Well, it is a 1080p camera. There are other HomeKit cameras that run at 2K. To me, I didn't see a difference, which I will be comparing these cameras and the footage in a upcoming video. Front of the device is the microphone, and on the back is the speaker, so you can have two-way audio. I did find the speaker to be clear and loud, but I did find in the Home app, when you did talk and it was at the loudest level, you did get a little bit of feedback.
Test of the G2H, I am getting a little bit of feedback, not too bad.
Currently in the US, it's only available in white, but in the near future, the other colors will be available. You can get royal blue, red, or this yellow, which to me kind of looks like a little minion. Jumping into the Apple's Home app, I think this is where the camera really shines. Now, I am using iOS Beta 5. Not everyone's going to be on iOS when this video comes out. If you're still using iOS 13, you're not going to get a lot of these features. You will need an iCloud storage plan. If you have the 200 gigabyte version, you can have 1 HomeKit secure video. If you have the 2 terabyte plan, I think which is about $10 a month, you can have up to 5 HomeKit secure video cameras. One thing I was surprised about is how fast this loads into the live view, and just like that, we are live. And you do have an exposed motion sensor. This is a pixel motion sensor. It is not an infrared. So if you do want to put this camera in Windows, I have tested it. It works quite well. So not only is this a great HomeKit secure video camera that has an option of 24/7 recording to a micro SD card, but it's also one of the most affordable HomeKit cameras out there. It's not the cheapest, but it is definitely still much more affordable than some other HomeKit cameras out there that don't even have that 24/7 recording option, which is important to me personally. I know not everybody needs or wants that feature, but I think what really tops the list here is their Aqara G2H is also a Aqara Hub. So if you want to bring other Aqara products into your HomeKit home, you can simply do that just by getting this Aqara G2H. You no longer have to buy our Aqara Hub. Like for instance, I talked about the Aqara wireless switches. Now with the G2H, you don't have to get that additional hub. You can simply get these connected into your HomeKit home simply by getting the G2H, and because of that, it makes my top 3. All right, coming in at number 2, and this is a brand new product that was just released also maybe a few weeks ago, and that is the brand new Apple HomePod Mini. Now if you're watching this video to hear about the sphere design or the fabric that comes in space gray or white, or the USB-C wire that you can't remove from the device, or the great sound that these things produce even at 100% volume with the full range driver and dual passive radiators that produce that deep bass and crisp high, but of course not as good as original HomePod, or for the custom acoustic wave pattern for that 360-degree sound, or the computational audio, the 4 mics that are built into it that pick up serial commands even when the sound volume is loud or if you're across the room, for support for multi-room audio with AirPlay 2, or taking 2 HomePod Minis and turning them into a stereo pair that you're able to send and receive calls and messages, that you can ask Siri general questions and control your smart home at a much better price than the original HomePod, coming in at only $99, which is still higher compared to Amazon and Google's mini speakers. Then this video is not for you. I summed up how amazing this device is in 37 seconds, and I saved you 10 minutes. And if you're an Apple fan, then you're probably into HomeKit, and if you want your HomeKit home to work the way that it should, then you definitely want a HomePod Mini with Thread inside. In a nutshell, once you pick up a HomePod Mini and put it in your house, you'll have a Thread network, which they consider this HomePod Mini a border router, which communicates with other Thread devices like the brand new Nanoleaf bulb and the Nanoleaf light strip, which then will create a secure mesh network of smart home devices within your house that can communicate with each other. So for instance, if you have 100 devices and one goes out, it can actually reroute the communication to where it needs to go without you doing anything. In addition to the self-healing properties of a mesh network, it can actually extend your network out to further locations in your house. He mentioned that back in 2015, they actually tested this with 250 devices and they didn't have any issues. And he says they can all act as a border router. If one happens to go down, the others will take over with no hiccup whatsoever. Plus, I think if you have multiple border routers, that's just going to add to your mesh network, make it stronger, and also extend the distance. You guys gotta get a HomePod Mini if you're into Apple stuff. It is definitely well worth the $99. And with Thread in it and ultra wideband, the future is here now. So even though I didn't do a full review of this, as you saw there, the Thread technology is the real star in this brand new product. Yes, it has some amazing sound. Yes, the price is great. It really brings more people into that HomeKit arena at that new starting price. But the real star here is that Thread technology. And I think moving forward with new products, we're going to see more and more Thread. And I think more and more companies are going to jump onto that Thread bandwagon and really take the smart home to the next level. And because of that, the HomePod Mini comes in at number 2. All right, drum roll please. Coming in at number 1. And yes, this is another hub. And it is not native to HomeKit, but this thing was so easy to use and brings features that I've never seen before in anything else, and brings it into HomeKit, and that is the Starling Hub. Have you ever wanted your Nest products to work with HomeKit? Well, today I'm going to show you how you can easily do it. Plus, if you have a Nest IQ or Nest Hello, I'm going to show you how you can take facial recognition and turn it into a trigger automation for your HomeKit home. Plus a audible announcement right there on your HomePod, just like this. Yeah!
Amy is at the front door.
That was awesome. Where with the Starling Hub and with the Nest Hello or a Nest IQ product, you can trigger some automations like turning on a light, or if you're not too scared to even try this, you can actually unlock your front door based off of your face. Now, how cool is that? In addition to the facial recognition that comes over from Nest, you also get the package delivery and package retrieval, so you can do things like this.
Care package on the way.
You have a package at the door.
Now I know this product is not for everybody. Some of you are probably saying, Bestest enemy! How could you? But if you already have some Nest products, the Starling Home Hub is definitely the easiest and fastest way to bring them into HomeKit. Now, I'm not saying go out and buy some Nest products and bring them into HomeKit, but if you already have them, the Starling Home Hub is a must-have. And if you have a Nest IQ product like the Nest Hello, having those package delivery notifications and facial recognition triggers in HomeKit is pretty cool. Now, of course, I don't recommend that for door locks or garages, even though you can do that, but the potential of that technology in HomeKit, sky's the limit, and I look forward to see what Apple does with that. I know they're working with the U1 chip and UWB ultra wideband and their new phones and potentially AirTags. Hopefully that's coming out soon. December 8th. Please, 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 please. But in addition to the ultra wideband, having that facial recognition triggers in HomeKit would be pretty cool too, so you don't always have to carry around your phone. Who knows what the future holds? But I gotta tell you this, there's some really cool stuff coming down HomeKit and into your smart home. So I look forward to seeing what else comes down the line. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you're brand new here, hit the subscribe button. It truly means a lot to me. I want to thank my Patreon members. Without these guys, there's no life. Just kidding. These guys are great. They support me financially even though they don't have to. They love this channel. They love me. If you guys want to learn more about Patreon, check that out right there. And I am out. Peace.
No, nothing can break me.